the embassy was blown up by a truck bomb. The guy drives into the completely unprotected driveway and blows up and pancakes the building. And I will tell you, you talk about being scared and surviving things. Well, on the day that this was blown up, I was at home, which happened to be just down the street from the embassy. And I called the office. And I said, listen, I'm going to stay home and work on my expense accounts and get a passport at the embassy later if there's nothing going on. I said, nothing going on, go ahead, take your time. So I'm working at home, and an hour later the phone rings, which is very unusual because my phone didn't often work. And it was the office. And the office was saying, hey, listen, a Marine got a bullet through his pant leg. He got sniped at. So he got a hole in his pants. He didn't get hit in the leg, but he's from Kentucky, Louisville, and the Louisville papers are screaming for a picture of this kid. So they called me and they said, listen, we can't find any of the stringers. I'm going to send Mohudeen to come and get you. We're going to go to the airport and photograph this kid. I said, okay. So Mohudeen picks me up. We drive down to the airport, take one of the world's stupidest, dumbest pictures I've ever taken. This kid, smiling and showing me the hole in his pants. And we go back to the office, and as we get in the car, we hear this boom, this huge explosion, and the whole city shakes. And you look over to your right, and you see this plume of black smoke. And you know from where that smoke is, it can only come from one spot, and that's the embassy. So, yes.
So you were there right at the moment of explosion?
Yeah. Well, I was not there. I was up the hill.
Yeah.
So we go racing down the hill to the embassy, and I come around the corner, and I look at my watch, and if I had stuck to my original plan, I would have been in the first floor applying for a visa, applying for a new passport, and there would have been enough to me to put a coffee cup.
So the Holy Repent saved you.
Yeah. So I never complained about a Marine Corps press conference after that. It was the last, never again did I complain about a Marine Corps press conference. That press conference saved my life. And this is Lawrence Eagleburger, and this is Mr. Dillon, and I decided him talking about the American Embassy and the response that the Americans were going to make, which was actually, there wasn't much they could do. So it's a terrorist attack. And the embassy has now been all knocked down, it's all been, now it's a condominium. This is on the line with the Marines. They've taken some small arms fire. So you can see they're condition one, they're taking a lot of fire, so they're watching what's going on. And this is the Marines on patrol in East Beirut. It's a young college girl, boys will be boys, in Ashrafia, in the neighborhood of Ashrafia, which is on the east side of Beirut. This is the guys in the front. The guy caught that is General James Meade. He was the first commander of the Marines in Beirut. And next to him is the Italian commander, the British commander, and the French commander. And this is the most famous Lebanese belly dancer who's entertaining them on this particular evening.
Did the wife saw the picture?
Huh?
The wife saw the picture.
This picture was wired, this picture has been posted in a lot of places. I'm assuming their wife saw it. Fort Apache, I'm always looking for little things that drive the story. In science at Fort Apache, they got binoculars taking a look at what's going on. This is the morning after the Marines get shelled. The Starry Night effect, shrapnel in the tent. And so the guy in the foreground looked a little bit freaked out. The guy in the back cleaning his rifle, and the third guy's sleeping. And so the guy, there's 3 levels of the photograph. The guy freaked out, the guy cleaning his rifle, and the guy under the sleep. And the Dallas Cowgirls come to Cairo, come to Beirut on the Guadalcanal, and they're the Marines, the Navy guys are, oh, this is great. The Dallas Cowgirls. We had Bob Hope came to visit, Gloria Gaynor came to visit, and the Dallas Cowgirls as part of the USO troops. And Bob Hope was amazing. Again, it's a picture that tells a story. You got the guy on the line with his binoculars, the American flag, and the Middle East Airlines Lebanese flag carrier taking off because he's at the base of the airport. So this picture tells the whole story about the Marines, the Americans, and the Lebanese airport, the Beirut airport. The guy on there on the lookout in his bunker at the edge of High Siloam. This is a Shiite neighborhood that surrounded the airport where the Marines were.
That's a 50 millimeter, isn't it?
Yes, it's a 50 mm machine gun. Yeah. Not a 50 mm lens, it's a 50 mm machine gun. Makes a lot of noise. A lot of noise. And then, as I say, I'm always looking for ways to tell stories. This is one of those pictures that you can't believe also happens at once. You got the people in the meets, you've got the Marines and the Amtrak, you got the Marines and the guard post, and you got the jet coming for landing and the city in the background.
Picture.
Huh?
There's a lot there.
Yeah, there's a lot to be taken. Yeah, but you have to look at where's the best way to take these pictures. And then things get a little dicey. This is October 23rd, and the Marines get blown up. The Marines, truck bomb comes into the Marine base and blows up the building. 6 o'clock in the morning. And again, I can't tell you how many nights I had spent in this building with doing stories on the Marines. For us, going to the Marine base at the airport was like going to Little America. You know, you knew these guys, they were friends of yours. And so this was for me, it was a very tough story, because a lot of guys that I had known pretty well had died in the blast.
That's the iconic photo of the whole episode.
Yeah, this
I don't know
photograph,
if
this
you know.
photograph gets used over and over again. It's been published I can't tell you how many books it's in.
Yeah.
On photojournalism, Middle East politics, Americans, the whole bit. But this is the picture they publish every time. And there's a picture from the massacre that's also the iconic go-to picture. You get a story about the massacre. And here's the whole scene. This is the building, and in the background is the control tower for the airport. But it's all changed now. The airport's all brand new, all very spiffy. This is the guy pointing. This is Colonel Garrity. He was a commander of the Marines when they were blown up. And the guy on his right is P.X. Kelly. P.X. Kelly was a commandant of the Marine Corps who came to Beirut immediately after the bomb. And the other guy is the Bartholomew, who's the ambassador in Beirut at the time. And Gary's explaining to them what happened and where the guy came in. And then here's Kelly and Garrity and the security guys. This is the last rites. You'll notice the chaplain's got a cigarette in one hand as he's giving the sign cross on the last rites of the corpse. I mean, it was really, when you think about what the Marines were going through, it was an incredibly tough situation. 241 guys died in this bomb. And the cleanup went on for weeks. And one of the things about being an AP photographer is you stay with the story. You know, we don't just make the picture, the iconic picture of the guy being listed as a rebel. You stay and you shoot the whole thing. Because this is an American story. AP is an American organization. So you're gonna spend more time with this than any other story. Because it's an American story. This is a Navy CB searching the wreckage for, dog tags, letters, pictures, anything they can find to connect people again. And they're restacking their sandbags and making the sandbags and trying to strengthen the perimeter of the airport. And these two guys are looking at some papers they found on the ground, and they're trying to see if there's anything to identify anybody or somewhere they should go. And in the background is all the work continues on the cleanup, and the destruction of what's left of the base. This is Father Pastorelli serving Mass on Green Beach, which was the Marine beach. In the background are Marine ships, part of the Marine Amphibious Unit entourage.
Semper Fi.
Huh?
Semper
Semper Fi. So you guys all know what Semper Fi means? Always faithful. Semper Fi, indeed. And then the POS put this up in December of '83. It's sort of poignant and ironic and sad. And they put a stretcher up with a Christmas wreath. They came in peace. Yeah. So these are the last Marines to leave the Corniche. And the guy on the right, well actually my right, your left, this guy, that's Sadiq with the striped shirt. He was the Druze commander on the Corniche. And which is, my landlord was Druze. So these guys protected my building, protected me. I can tell you a story about my car being stolen and what the Druze guys did to it. Anyway. So, meanwhile, these guys protected the Marines on the Corniche. The Druze protected these guys. And so when they left, you can see they were waving at Sala and, bye, Habibi. And to tell you what the internet has done in the world, I got an email and a call 3 months ago from a friend of Saladiq's to tell me that Salah sends his best and he's now living in Riverside, California.
Huh.
And he doesn't, his English still isn't good enough to talk, but he was going to call with his friend to translate in a few more weeks. So we'll see. And the guy with the RPG is just one of Salah's people. The Druze, when I was going to leave Lebanon in '85, I was the last male American journalist living in West Beirut when I left. And the Druze were very worried about me because the airport road was the kidnap alley. So when we were going to leave, the Druze escorted me to the airport with a car in front and a car behind with RPGs and machine guns and the whole bit. It was quite the extravaganza. And then this is a year to the day, on the '84, on the day of the bombing, I went back to the airport, went back to the base, and spent a whole day photographing where the Marines had been. Photographing the outposts on the edge of the airport, photographing just stuff. And I shot, this is all film at the time. And I made quite a few prints of it. It's very, very ironic. I gave a show on the 10th anniversary of the bombing in '93. I went to Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, the Marine base, and gave them a show, put on a show in the Marine Museum, and donated a lot of prints to the Marine Corps. And this is in the basement of the building that was blown up. And the day, a year later, it's still there. What's wrong with this picture?
Misspelled.
You know, it'd be funny, you'd be amazed at how many people I would show us, what's wrong? I said, what's it, you know, it's a guy lighting a cigarette. No, look at, finally, but you guys have nailed it. Great. Yeah, when I first saw this picture, I wanted to cry. I just wanted to cry. They couldn't get it right. They couldn't, this was very distressing. Yeah, this is 10 years, this is '93, this is 10 years later. This is what it looked like. Do you remember the two guys standing on this wall? Oh, that's the wall they're standing on. Yes?
Where do the Druids fit into the bigger pictures? In terms of the
Druids.
Yeah.
The Jews.
Druids are, in England and
I mean
The
the
Druze.
Druze.
Yeah.
The Druze are a offshoot. The Druze are called a mystical sect. It's an offshoot of Islam. They're not Shiites, they're not Sunnis, they're Druze. And the Druze have no mosques, they have no synagogues, they have no buildings for their prayers. It's all so much more a self thing. than it is a group prayer thing. You know, if you're a Catholic, you go to church. If you're a Muslim, you go to mosque. If you're a Jew, you go to synagogue. Well, the Jews, there's no real building where they go to pray.